What should we expect from this call in terms of learning objective?
Well, I would like us to learn more about the area from the first hands. I would like us to hear more in-depth stories about the area of this part of Sicily and have a better picture of Trapani and Marsala and wine and food of this beautiful area.
Welcome to this special Clubhouse session of the Italian Wine Podcast. Listen in as members of the Italian wine community engage in fascinating conversations about contemporary wine topics. If you enjoyed the show, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com and remember to subscribe and rate the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your pods.
Hello, everybody. My name's Stevie Kim, and welcome back to the Ambassador's Corner. I'm sorry, I haven't been around much on the Ambassador's Corner, mostly because I've been very, very, very busy traveling. But welcome. And today, our host is Anna Obuhovskaya.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Obuhovskaya, and I'm happy to be with you again.
Yeah, I just completely butchered your last name. Thank you for correcting that. And Anna, where are you now?
I'm in Ljubljana. I live and work in Slovenia for 2.5 years already.
I know, crazy. It's been 2.5 years already. What's the weather like there now?
Well, since I am 3 hours away from Verona, it's pretty much the same.
It's raining
a bit
today?
Cloudy, a bit rainy, a bit sunny, a bit of everything.
And what's going on with the harvest this year?
Well, the weather conditions are really tricky. Depends on the area, depends on the region. In Gorghi, they already finished the harvest.
They're done already.
Yeah, about a week and a half ago, and other regions pretty much also.
Okay, yeah, it's been tricky because of the rain, right? It's like stop and go harvest season.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good weather at all.
So for those of you who are joining with us for the very, very first time, of course, we will be replaying this episode, this call on the Italian Wine Podcast. I have some competition today because Marco is doing some recording for Wine to Wine at the same time on main stage. I'm in the booth. I'm keeping the doors open because it's all of a sudden, it went from like super hot summer to super cool autumn, right? It's kind of crazy here. Anyway, so the concept behind this series, of course, it's called Ambassador's Corner because it is mostly our Italian wine ambassador community at large. They get to choose their favorite wine producer or wine personality. And for about an hour, they get to, ask them some deep dive questions. And today, our host is Anna Obuhovskaya. How do you say it? One last time.
Obuhovskaya. So you just stress
Obuhovskaya. Obuhovskaya. Okay. We'll work on
so
that.
Much,
She's been on it so many times. How many episodes have you done so far with us?
I'm pretty sure it's the 10th.
Oh my gosh. You're part of the family. I need to give you like some kind of like medal or a bronze statue or something.
It's my pleasure, Stevie. Really,
yeah, so
I love
Anna,
being a part of.
Tell us once again a little bit about yourself to our audience who may not have listened to you in the past.
Well, I've been in the wine industry for a bit more than 15 years already, having experience mostly in wine retail, marketing, and sales. And I worked in a number of bigger companies. In Saint Petersburg, bigger importing companies, but I also did some independent projects and found Italian Wine Tasting Club in Saint Petersburg. 2 years ago, in 2003, I became an Italian wine ambassador by Vinitaly International Academy, and I was driven by passion for European wine so much, so I moved from St. Petersburg to charming Slovenia. And currently, I'm holding the position of a portfolio development manager and also sales in a wine importing company, Dobro Vino. It's a Slovenian company, so I am we're mostly focusing on import. So I'm bringing great international wines to Slovenia. This is my job now.
Okay, great. So, Anna, your guest today her name is Marilena Leta. And how did you come to choose Marilena for your call today?
Well, we met at Vinitaly in Verona earlier this year, and I tasted Gorghi Tondi wines upon a recommendation from a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And in this tasting marathon, which each wine expo is, these wines really stood out and impressed me, especially Zibibo, the sweet wine made of beautiful Moscato di Alessandria. And I still remember the taste of this wine and this expressive sunny character. So
excellent. So as you know, we always share, just to make sure we're all on the same page, aligning our expectations from this call. What should we expect from this call in terms of learning objective?
Well, I would like us to learn more about the area from the first hands. I would like us to hear more in-depth stories about the area of this part of Sicily, and have a better picture of Trapani and Marsala, and wine and food of this beautiful area.
Excellent. Okay, so I will give the floor over to you, Anna, and your guest, Marilena. I will be muting my mic, and then I'll come back towards the end. And let me just give a shout out to Andrea from Latvia. We have Julia, Kevin, Matzia, Judith, and Tusha from our community joining us today. So, okay, I'll be off, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Stevie. Hello, Marilena. It's great to have you here. Ciao, come stai?
Hello, Anna. Nice to have you again here. It's really a pleasure to be here. Sorry for my voice, but I have a very bad flu this day, so this is what I get from a few days of bad flu. So sorry for that.
So sorry. We make you record in this podcast on this on these conditions, on extreme conditions.
I'm really sorry to ruin your 10th exhibition.
Well, thank you so much for joining, and let's talk about the beautiful wines, and let me introduce Marilena to every one of you. So she is a translator on loan of the world of wine, and I don't make it, but well, she loves sharing the story, explaining, and spreading the word, and sometimes drinking it too. So Marilena is a sommelier, a wine coach, and also a proud member of Italian Women in Wine. So she's also brand ambassador for Tenuta Gorghi Tondi. Is that right? Anything to add?
Definitely correct. Yes, I'm a translator on loan, and it's 18 years I've been working in the wine business now. So I can say I'm more in wine than in translation.
Perfect, great. And which language did you translate to? What's your other language than Italian?
Normally English, Spanish, and French. I did study Russian also, but I never spoke the language. So basically, I can understand something, but nothing more than this.
Okay. I guess with a glass or two of wine, you could handle that.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So, my first question to you is actually, could you please share a brief story of Gorghi Tondi winery, when it was found, and who is in charge of making the wines?
Sure. Gorghi Tondi Winery is located in southwest Sicily. We are in Mazzara del Vallo, so in the coastal area between Marsala and Mazzara. And it was founded in 2000. The very first harvest was 2005, but the story of the winery is a little bit longer than this, because everything started when Dora, the great-grandmother of the two owners today, Anna Maria and Clara, decided to purchase the area where the vineyard stands. So 130 hectares purchased by a nobleman of the area. because the area of Mazzara del Vallo, especially the vineyard that were facing the sea, were considered the best at the beginning of the 20th century for the growing of white grapes used for making the most famous wine at that time, that was Marsala wine. So basically we are talking about Grillo grapes and Catarratto grapes growing very close to the sea. So the story is longer than a century, but actually the current brand Tenuta Gorghi Tondi started in 2000, and the very first harvest was 2005. The hectares are still the same, 130, and the winemakers, the historical winemaker that make the wine since that moment is Tonino Guzzo, with the help of Michele Scavone, that is our resident winemaker.
So that's really interesting. I love this part of Sicily so much. It's very green, and yeah, the influence of the sea is quite big. But well, you described that you're a brand ambassador of Tenuta Gorghi Tondi, but what are your duties in the winery? I know you're way more than that. You're a multitask person. Could you
Yes.
describe a bit more of your role?
Yes. Yeah, normally I'm a brand ambassador, but normally I'm the person in charge for communication and PR. I deal both with digital and classic communication activities at the winery. So I deal with social media, with the web, with the journalists, with the trade. It depends. I can have different activities every day. But in any case, I talk about wine. It's really continuously talking about wine and explaining and storytelling, basically. So I'm a multitasking person, definitely. I'm also a sommelier. As you said before, I'm a wine coach, and it often happens that I help my colleagues in sales to introduce the winery and the wines to their prospects. And it can happen that I have to organize meetings or master classes on a specific topic directly at the winery or outside of the winery, as for example at Vinitaly, where we met.
Well, great. That must be a very interesting job, well, connecting to so many people and seeing this great part of the wine business, introducing the wine to people, seeing sparkle in their eyes. It must be really fascinating. But my question would be, next question would be, which varieties you work with besides Grillo, which you already mentioned, and what is the role of each of these grape varieties in your range? Let's say what's more popular, what's least popular. Maybe there is some rising star. Just from your perspective, how would you arrange these wines?
Okay, so we are, of course, in Western Sicily. So when we talk about Western Sicily, we are talking about white grapes, mostly white grapes. So Catarratto, Zibibbo, Grillo, that we have already mentioned. Some rarities such as Damaschino, Grecanico, Inzolia. These are all the grape varieties you can find in Western Sicily. At the winery, we focus mostly on Grillo, as we said, Catarratto, Zibibbo, a little Damaschino too. We also have some red grapes, of course, Nero d'Avola, Syrah, that is the international grape varietal historical of that area, probably for some similarities with the climate, with the hot climate of Vallée du Rhône. And recently we have brought Frappato in the area. About the white variety, especially Zibibbo, that is Muscat of Alexandria, as you said before, we normally use it for making our single vineyard wine that is called Raja. That comes from a vineyard that is over 25-year-old. It is an aromatic wine, of course. And it is the demonstration that dried Zibibbo, and not the sweet version, that is definitely the traditional one, the one you mentioned before. So when the dried Zibibbo have structure, elegance, minerality, depth, and the ability to age in the bottle is a completely different thing, and can be really something amazing, especially if you try to taste it after few years in the bottle, it can develop some Riesling-like aromas such as petroleum, and it's really, really interesting. The winery was one of the very first in Western Sicily to focus on dry Zibibbo instead of going on making the dessert version. So this is probably one of our most represented grape varieties together with Grillo. The other star would be Catarratto. Catarratto is probably one of the most traditional historical Sicilian variety. It was mistreated in the last decades, and it was only destined to give alcohol, structure, and body to other regions' wines. But thanks to some visionary winemakers in the last years, he's showing off all its character, and it can really be considered a real gem on its own. Catarratto can be very versatile, flexible, more resistant than Grillo in certain occasions, and it is a true Sicilian grape that can really express terroir like no other. We make a wine, only one wine with Catarratto that is called Midor, and the name is the union of Michele and Doretta, that are the parents of Anna Maria and Clara, the owners of Tenuta Gorghi Tondi today. So it represents a kind of a family bond, because the family has been for 4 generations leading the winery, a winery carried on mostly by by women since the beginning, with the great-grandmother Dora. And it is considered a kind of a tribute to the beauty of Sicilian art, because on the label you have this maiolic, that is a very ancient design. So it is definitely a Sicilian label when you just look at the bottle. And among the rarity, I mentioned before Damaschino. Damaschino is a white wine, is a white grape. Today, there are very few vineyards left in Western Sicily with this variety. It is very delicate, and historically speaking, it was normally a part of the Marsala wine blend. Today, we are a little bit more than that. We use it in our semi-sparkling wine, Babbio, that is probably one of the fizzy wine destined to the younger generations. So we use this wine to have a kind of an approach with the younger generation, to let them discover that wine is not so bad, that are not just beers, but also wine can be a very nice choice when you drink something nice.
Well, that's really interesting. And what about Frappato? Is it more popular?
Yeah, Frappato is definitely the new kids on the block, especially not only in the area of origin that is Vittoria, so eastern Sicily, but also in the Trapani area. Not many know that the vineyards grown with Frappato are more in the Trapani area than the original area of Vittoria and Ragusa. So there are more hectares here than on the other side of the island. The Frappato we make is called Dumè, that in Sicilian means my way, because of course this was not a grape varietal originary from this area. So we wanted to discover how it could grow close to the sea. And this is why we brought it to see the view of the sea, because we have vineyards facing the sea. And it is probably the best representation of what we normally call viticulture by the sea. The winery, Gorghi Tondi, started making experimentation, not just with international grapes, but also with local grapes, but originally from other areas of Sicily. Frappato is one example. We tried also with Nerello Mascalese, with which we produce a rosé, for example. So it is a modern wine, a light, easy drinking red, but with a lot of character. And fortunately, the times when only big, bold, full-bodied red could be considered Sicilian is likely past, because now the people are asking for more and more lightness, for really light red wines. So Frappato can be definitely an answer to this question that comes continuously from the different markets.
Yes, absolutely. I was just going to say that Frappato, when you taste it for the first time, it's such a light, beautiful, shiny red wine, and you don't expect this kind of style in the southern region of Sicily. I mean, in the southern island of Sicily, you expect this to be in Alto Adige or somewhere in the north of Italy, but not that way south. So that's exactly the style of wine that is very hot now. It's very trendy. This lighter reds, because our food becoming less and less heavy, and more lean, more like natural. I would say less meat, more fish, more vegetables. So these wines definitely fit this consumer's choice. So it's
they are.
really
They are
interesting.
good for eating with. They are good as by the glass. So it is definitely something so versatile that you want more and more, because it's another glass, another glass. They are very easy drinking and really light, but really, really expressive.
I know you also have some sparkling wine. Which grape variety is it made of?
We have 3 sparkling wine at the moment, 2 made with Charmat method, so with the tank method. One is Grillo, it is a white brut, and the other one is a Nero d'Avola Rosé. And this year at Vinitaly we launched the very first Metodo Classico, the traditional method, that is a Pinot Noir. Also that one was a bet, was an experimentation. So again, what we call the viticulture by the sea, so to experiment grape varietals that are not normally considered to be grown in a good way in areas that are normally considered too hot, too close to the sea. But both Frappato and Pinot Noir definitely confirm that it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Oh, great. It's very interesting. I think also sparkling wine is, I work in trade. I work in with the import, so I'm always in the search of, I'm always keeping an eye on trends, on what's hot now, what consumers want. So sparkling wine is definitely a growing category. So it's very interesting that you launched 3 labels, because this is really what consumers need now, what wine enthusiasts looking for. My next question would be about the area of Trapani. But could you please specify the vineyard is located in Trapani area, but is it also in Marsala or Trapani? Like, what's location and what are the specific traits of this area and the influence on the style?
Okay, the area, the province is Trapani, but the winery is located in Mazzara del Vallo. That is probably the southern western part. What you can find specifically in this area is the Mediterranean influence. This is what really stands out. So winds, sea breeze, and the kind of soil that you have on the coastal area, that comes from the Pleistocene era. So you can still find fossils and shells while walking in the sandy vineyards very close to the seaside. Of course, the big influence in terms of ranges of temperature and mitigation is the big mass of water made by Mediterranean Sea. That really mitigates the rise of temperatures, especially during the hot summers. It can maintain a good balance between the acidity and the ripeness of the grapes during their development. And the coastal area, the one ranging from Mazzara del Vallo to Marsala, has always a good range in temperatures between day and night, compared, for example, to inland areas where it could be or super hot in summer or super cold in winter. So we have a very perfect balance, especially for the growing of the different grape varietals, especially the local one, the indigenous one, that are absolutely used to this situation.
But there is also a natural reserve, like a national park or specially protected area. Could you say a few words about it, please?
Yes, actually, the winery stands in the middle of a natural reserve that gives the name to the winery. Actually, Gorghi Tondi, if we have to translate it in English, it would be round whirlpools, are three karst lakes inside of this nature reserve. Was declared as a protected area in the 80s by the Sicilian government, and in 1998, it was given to the WWF, to the World Wildlife Foundation. So they are protecting the area now. And in this specific nature reserve, we have 35 hectares of vineyards that grow inside the protected area. And of course, this is a kind of a gift because you are living inside the nature reserve. And this is the best way to understand nature through its rhythms, its needs, and most of all, what we can learn living with nature. So 35 hectares, as I said before, all surrounded by biodiversity, because when you are close to other kind of plants, you are basically in the middle of the wilderness. So you are protected by the plants, by the insects, by the birds, and all of them are basically fighting against vine pests and diseases, helping you in your job, in the agricultural activities that you are bringing on in your property. So it's probably one of the best examples of cohabitation. Man and nature are working together in this situation. And this was probably the very first turning point to start working organically. So this is why the winery since 2016 has been fully certified organic.
Yeah, that seems really interesting. I've never been particularly in that natural reserve, but from what you explained, I really want to go one day and see these lakes myself.
Whenever you want, Anna.
Okay, thank you. But speaking of this natural reserve, did climate change influenced your area at all? I mean, now it's a very common thing to discuss with winemakers because things are really changing from what it used to be 10 or 20 years ago. And what are the challenges that Gorghi Tondi winery is facing recently? How much the weather conditions changed in the past years?
We have seen changes. Even if we work mostly with local grapes that are a little bit more resistant to the modification of the climate, in the last years, we have seen a lot of changes. This year, we witnessed probably the earliest harvest in our history. So it was really few days because it was so quick. The vines had to cope with the thermal and water anomalies of the past 2 years, because it was not just this year the lack of water, but also last year we lacked the water, but not so much as this year. Some varieties, for example, have shown a greater ability to adapt, but others experience a significant drop in production. For example, Grillo. Grillo was one of the varietals that had the most of the problem this year. We brought home just 50% of what we could. So this is definitely a common situation in this part of Sicily this year with the 2024 harvest. But in any case, and this was how lucky, the clusters arrived at harvest perfectly healthy. So the winemakers had to just focus on achieving the right level of ripeness. We can say, overall satisfied with the quality of the wines, but we have not finished yet, because we are still waiting to cut the clusters of the Grillo affected by the noble rot, because we have this wine made only in the best vintage, and we normally wait for the full ripeness of this Grillo vineyard that is facing the sea. It's something like 10 meters from the sea. And we normally have to wait up to the middle of October to see if the noble rot is spreading, and definitely finally to pick the grapes and bring them back to the cellar to start the work.
That's very interesting. I don't think I heard of any case like that in Sicily, working with grapes with noble rot. That's something new to me. How long are you making those wines? It's really interesting.
The first harvest was 2006. It was quite a discovery because our winemaker Tonino Guzzo recognized the noble rot, while the father of Anna Maria and Clara thought it was normally a rot. So it was ready to uproot the vineyard, and the winemaker says, "Stop, please! You don't know what jewel you have found in your vineyard." So since that moment, Tonino started to work with the noble rot grapes, and since 2006, not every year because it's difficult to have the perfect condition, but from time to time we can achieve that beautiful result. That is this little production of Botrytis Grillo. It is called Grillo d'Oro, and we produce something like 3,000 bottles in the vintage we can.
Beautiful. That's a great story. I have to taste this wine sometime. Now I have even more reasons to come visit you.
Yeah, second reason to come.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I when I've been to Trapani, I know the Trapani area. I noticed how many wineries are in this area, and they are mostly bigger ones. These fields with vine. Big squares. I mean, a lot of just a lot of land occupied with vine. Let's say. And do you know the exact number? How many wineries are your neighbors? I mean, how many wineries are in this area nowadays?
Well, in Mazzara del Vallo, there are not so many. We can say something like 3 to 4, not so many. As in Marsala, Marsala area is a very big one where you can really find, I think, over 100 wineries. You have the bigger one, of course, but you have also a very small one. But in the Trapani area, you have something like 100 producers, definitely. But in Mazzara, that is something like 35-40 kilometers south from Marsala, you have 3 to 4, because these has always been one of the biggest province planted with vineyards in Italy. It is still one of the biggest in Europe, after Portugal, I think. So this is why you remember all these fields of vineyard. It's definitely the truth.
Well, that's a really I would say the busy market. It's a lot of competition on the market with all these wineries. Could you speak a bit about the main trade markets for Gorghi Tondi? Which are the most important for you, or maybe some most promising, which you are aiming?
Well, in 20 countries covered by our export activities, and we are mostly concentrated in Northern Europe, so Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, Poland, and in some traditional importing countries in the old and new wine world, such as United Kingdom, United States, Canada, and Japan. We have started exploring some new markets in Southwest Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, Hong Kong, of course, Australia, New Zealand, and South America, Brazil, for instance. Of course, it's difficult to say which one is the most is the most promising, because every one of them has a very specific idea of Italian and Sicilian wine. So we try to really understand first, and then bring them to understand why we make certain things and what can be the best representation of Sicily for them. We are lucky because we have quite a good range of wines. They are quite 20 in total, so it is easy. But there is a lot of curiosity for Sicilian wine, and even the perception compared to 15, 20 years ago, it's definitely different, and we are so happy about that.
Well, yeah, what I can observe within these 15 years while I'm working in the wine industry, I noticed how the quality of Sicilian wines grew significantly, and whenever I look for something with great pricing quality, it's very often southern Italy, and particularly Sicily. So, well, definitely, I think these wines have great perspective on different markets outside of Italy. Absolutely, very approachable style of wine, easy to understand for non-experienced drinkers, but also there is something to surprise connoisseurs. You know, with dry Zibibo or with Trapato, this is absolutely this is so versatile. You know, the range of wine you have. Sicily is absolutely beautiful, one of my favorite regions, really. Yeah. And when you speak or when you think of Sicily, you cannot only talk about wine, but there's also food, great food, very different region.
A lot of food.
Yeah. Every province has its own specific dish or products they work with. Could you speak a little bit about, or not a little, as much as you wish?
Yeah.
Perhaps no.
Complicated.
Yeah.
To very few ones.
It's very interesting to know if somebody's. Well, could you please describe some of the signature dishes of your area? What do you think makes the best pair with your wines, especially? But could you also speak about the signature dishes?
Well, in the Marsala del Vallo area, fish and seafood are of outstanding quality because Marsala del Vallo is one of the biggest fishing fleet of Italy. And when we talk about signature dish, we cannot forget the king of the table, that is the red prawn of Mazzara, alongside with fish couscous, that can be considered the dish of integration and of peaceful coexistence, because in Mazzara del Vallo you have these two communities of people, the Sicilians and the Maghrebi, that came in the 60s and 70s to the city to work as fishermen. So for the red prawn, of course you can have it raw if you like the style, but I would go for something grilled with some extra virgin olive oil, parsley, a little bit of garlic, and a glass of Grillo, because the Grillo is round with a nice acidity, with that minerality that goes very well with the red prawn. And K Red, that is our Grillo Riserva, would be probably the best match, or even the Catarratto. Especially if the bottle is not of the current vintage, but of an older one, because Catarratto is super, super nice when it stays in the bottle for a few years. And for the fish couscous, I will definitely go for frappato. Consider that the fish couscous is made, of course, with a couscous and with a soup of fish, where you have something like 10, 15 different kind of fishes. You have tomato, and this is why frappato, that is light, bright, with a nice acidity, with its spiciness, goes very well with the fish couscous. So when you come here, fish couscous and frappato waiting for you.
Well, that sounds just so great. I hope you guys are not really hungry when you listen to this podcast. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. Well, yeah, food in Sicily is something really to remember, definitely. But if somebody is visiting your area for the first time, what would you recommend as a must see? What are your personal top things to see? Your recommendations.
Well, to visit the area, if you come with the spirit of the grand tour, you would go definitely for the archaeology areas, for the archaeology sites such as Selinunte, that is very close to Mazzara del Vallo. We are talking about 20 kilometers, no more than this. And Cave di Cusa, that is an archaeological area where actually the big columns that you can see on the Selinunte temple were carved. So these are very close, and it is an archaeological discovery. Mazzara del Vallo itself is a very beautiful city. It's probably the best representation of what melting pot means in Sicily, because you have really a lot of architectural style in the city. You have the Arab, the Norman, the Baroque. You have really a lot of things, and in the core of the city you have a kasbah, because the narrow streets of the city center have been decorated during these decades by the Maghrebi community living in there. So basically you can be found lost in the middle of the city center, and you are lost in the Mazzara del Vallo Kasbah with all the ceramics, all those colors. It's really, really beautiful. So this would be definitely the two must-go places. And if you like nature, except the nature reserve that, of course, is very close to us, and you love the seaside, or most of all, you love water sports, well, the spots that you have on the coastal area are amazing, especially for windsurfing and kite surfing. So you have really a lot of choices if you come to visit the southwest part of Sicily and Mazzara del Vallo area.
That sounds really great. Such a nice destination. Some interesting things to do, and also eat and drink well, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. What else? Exactly. All favorite things together. I would like to ask you, as a big cinema lover, I know that Gorghi Tondi participated this special series of documentary, and one episode is devoted to Gorghi Tondi winery. Could you speak a little bit about that? Could you tell what's it about, who filmed it, and where it's possible to see?
Yes, it will be exactly next Tuesday at 2040 at night. It will be on Sky Arte, and the name of the show is Bevi. That is, in Italian, it's an acronym meaning drink, but basically it's the art of vinification. And we were invited to film one of the episodes. It was really an honor for us, because it will be a very long episode talking about most of the things we have discussed so far. So the area, the nature reserve, the seaside, the influence of the sea, the vineyards, and we just have to wait just 7 days to watch the full episode, because we are so curious. We have seen some pictures today that we have received from the production. The production is Art Lauder. It's an Italian agency. Federico Di Giambattista is the founder, and we had the chance to work with two super nice filmmakers that are also the directors of the episode, Roberto and Andrea. You are going to see their names at the end of the episode, and it is really a kind of a dream. So it's the dream of a family, the dream of two sisters, and it's more a kind of a series that is not focused on the technical side of wine, but on the people making wine, on their feelings, on their difficulties, on their happiness doing that job, and exploring a little bit the personal relationship you have in the world of wine. So it's a completely different perspective compared to other kind of series. So it will be very nice to explore also the more intimate side of wine, not just the one that we all know and we want to go deeper and deeper.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I would like to invite everyone who is now in the room to ask questions if you have some for Marilena. You can either raise your hand or text me in the chat, and I will either give you a floor or I could read your question. So please feel free to ask Marilena more questions, since we have another 15 minutes of the session. And my question...
I'm sorry. Did you finish?
No, I did not finish. I do have more questions, but Stevie, if you have a question for Marilena,
thank you. First of all, very, very interesting, Marilena. How long have you been working for the Sala family?
Hello, Stevie. Always a pleasure to stay in the room with you. It's already nearly 5 years working with them. I've started in 2000, in the year of the COVID.
And what were you doing before?
I was working for another winery.
Which one?
Famous one, Marco de Bartoli.
Ah, okay.
So I know the area.
Yes, you definitely know the area. So for those of us who are less familiar, because I'm on the website right now, Tenuta Gorghi Tondi. So I see a lot of wine. So can you give us like an overview in numbers, like how many labels, what is the volume of production, how many different grape varieties? I know you went over some of them. Can you give us like, so that we can contextualize the size of the winery?
Okay, so speaking of figures, of course, the winery is 130 hectares, of which 115 planted with vineyards. We have in total 19 or 20 wines today, divided in two ranges. The signature range is the top quality one, and the specialty wines are the limited edition wines, because we started making these wines in very small quantities. For the signature range, we are talking about 10,000, 12,000 bottles per label. While for the specialty, we are talking about 3,000, no more, 3,000, correct.
So those are the signature wines.
Yeah,
right, that's
the signature
series.
wine are, yeah.
Then I see Grillo d'Oro.
Yeah, Grillo d'Oro, the Spumante Metodo Classico da Pinot Nero, and Ziller 47, that is a pre-British wine. It is a wine that can be considered the ancestor of Marsala wine because it's not fortified. So these are the very specialty things you can find in the range. And then for the signature, you have Grillo Riserva, Keira, you have Raja, the Zibibbo, 100%, single vineyard, and the Sorelle Sala, that is a Rosso Riserva, where you have 50% of Nero d'Avola, some Syrah, and some Cabernet, more international style red wine if you want. And then we are talking about the Maiolica range, that is something...
What is that?
That is Cataratto and Frappato. So you have Midor in there, and you have Dumais, and also that they are a range a little bit lower than the signature, but in terms of quality, nothing changes basically, but they are just stainless steel, while the signature has some oak aging. So this is one of the differences. But they are, the pure representation of two grape varietals, Catarratto, traditional, historical, and Frappato, that is, an outsider for this area, but that we wanted to bring here to see what the influence of the sea could make on a wine coming from the east.
That's the rosé one?
No, the rosé one is part of the we call it entry level, but it is the territoriali range, where you have two white, Grillo, the easy drinking Grillo, the easy drinking Zibibbo, Nero d'Avola 100% and Syrah 100%, and you have a rosé in that range that is Nerello Mascalese. That is the only still rosé we have. And that range, of course, is the one producing the majority of bottles, because we are going for 50,000 for the white, 30,000 for the red, and I think just 15,000 for the rosé.
But so what is the Babbio rosé?
Babbio.
Yeah, what is
Babbio
that?
rosé. And most of all, Babbio Bianco. These are the only semi-sparkling wine we make at the winery.
Oh, semi-sparkling. Okay.
Semi-sparkling, yeah, it's a frizzante in Italian. Because this was a choice to attract a little bit more in 2017, it was the millennials, because we wanted to, to target that part of the drinking public that was not considering wine as an option. And so the label and also the name, Babbio in Sicilian means joke. It is scherzo. It is a Sicilian word that you can really use in many occasions, but it immediately gives you this sensation of, okay, I'm fine, I'm having a good time. And it was really a huge success we didn't expect. And for this same reason, with the years, we had a lot requests for Babbio. We started with something like 6,000 bottles. Today, we are over 100,000.
Oh, my goodness.
And for this, we started a project this year that we presented at Vinicini, because we joined with Plastic-Free Onlus for the new bottle of Babbio, because Babbio, the last year was a normal bottle, a glass bottle with the normal label made of paper and plastic. But as the idea with Plastic-Free was to educate people not to abandon plastic, because plastic is not bad as it is. It is bad when you cannot recycle it. So we joined together. We create this bottle that is completely made of glass. So it is, you have please help me, Stevie, serigrafia. It is una bottiglia serigrafata.
Yeah, serigraphed, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So basically, the label is on the bottle. So when you finish your wine, you can throw away the bottle without separating the different part, because there is no plastic in the bottle. And has, you have 100,000 bottles, meaning 100,000 messages to all the people drinking Babbio, because at the side you have the label of plastic free, explaining a little bit what the association is doing and all the events they are organizing all around Italy, cleaning up places that are completely covered with plastics, abandoned by the people.
So this Babbio, the part of the Maioliche series, seems to be quite successful. And you said it was intended originally for the millennials, right?
Yeah.
So what about the generation, the next generation, Generation Zeta? Like how are you targeting them?
Well, we didn't know, but Babbio was useful to target even them. Basically, Babbio was super, the target was so huge that we didn't expect that, because you can target the millennials with that. You can target the Gen Z. You can target all the other generation, because it's an easy drinking wine. Probably a wine that is so self-explanating that you don't need to really explain what it is. It is a fizzy wine. So you open the bottle, you share the bottle, and it's fun. So you don't really have to complicate too much with explanation as we normally do with wines. But of course, we do have the signatures or the, also the maioliche with Frappato and Catarrato that are destined to Gen Z that definitely appreciate those labels too. But, really, Babbio for us was a huge, huge surprise.
So, I mean, is it safe to say that the Territoriali, that's your entry-level series, right?
Yeah,
And
correct.
then you have also Vini del Buon Umore to put you in a good mood. What's the difference between Vini del Buon Umore, Maioliche, which is you also have the semi-sparklers, but so that was for more the millennials and maybe got caught on with the Gen Z. How do you market how do you differentiate these marketing segments?
Basically, the ranges such as the series such as Signature, Maioliche, are mostly destined to restaurants, while the Territoriali is mostly to wine bars or pizzeria, while the Vini del Buon Umore, that is a project that was created after the long period after COVID and all that bad period. So this is why the name. So we wanted to make something that brought happiness, that brought tranquility and relax and calm, even in a new way of drinking, because we realized that not all the people are ready to have a bottle of wine when they hit the restaurant. So they want some glass of wine. So we thought about wines that can be consumed not just by the bottle, but also by the glass. And these also go with the experimentation and international grapes that Gorghi Tondi is doing in the last year. So bringing international grapes to the seaside, in the specific case for Mare Meo, you have Sauvignon Blanc, and for Spassoso, you have Syrah and Perricone. So an indigenous grape and a local grape. So it is definitely something intended for the younger generation, but not really just the young generation. It is very a very broad target, the one we try to focus on.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, of course, Anna, it was the wrong idea to give me a mic, because this is what I do. I completely monopolize, and I have 10,000 questions for the guest. But I think we can, on that good note, with the Vini del Buon Umore, I think we can kind of close up the shop. What do you think, Anna? Unless you have another dire question for Marilena.
Yeah, I would. I have just one quick question, probably, and let me ask. Well, of course, we need to. It's regarding where to observe. What's the best way for wine enthusiasts and experts to observe Sicilian wines nowadays? We all know that Vinitaly is the biggest expo, but is there any good event in Sicily that wine enthusiasts can visit and have a better picture of what's going on in the area, or of which wine producers, which styles are currently made, and is there any exhibition apart from Vinitaly in Verona that is worth visiting in Sicily?
Well, in Sicily, for the moment, if we talk about exhibition as we may intend, such as Vinitaly or Merano or other big events organized all around Italy, we don't have something like that. We have different events organized all around the year. They can be big, or very small. Most of them are small, mostly organized by some sommelier association or some, association of connoisseurs that want to bring some wines to give the public, the people, to better understand the wines of the area, or of the areas of Sicily. Well, the main event I can think of that is organized for many years now in Sicily is definitely Contrade, and Stevie knows it very well, especially this year. I think that is probably the only big event that really put together a lot of wineries. The only thing is that is focused on Etna.
Right.
And I would like to have something similar also for the other side or for the other areas of Sicily, because most of the time there are a lot of interest for Etna. That is, the very last area discovered, internationally speaking, for Sicilian production. But there are a lot of other areas, especially the western parts, also the central part of Sicily, that deserve a lot more attention. And we hope that a lot more events will happen in the future and in the next years, because we really need to have a bigger focus on Sicilian wines, all of them, not just certain areas.
Yeah,
it's not just a critic, because I really love Etna wines, but I would really envy them for Contrade. I would really love to have a Contrade of the western part of Sicily.
Yeah, so of course I was the madrina, the godmother for the Contrade this year. So I think it is a very interesting moment for Etna wines. But you guys also do Cantina Aperte, right?
Yeah.
Which I love in Sicily, because you guys are so colorful and so welcoming. Your hospitality is fantastic.
Yeah, we actually skipped Cantina Aperte in the last years, but we decided to focus mostly on the summer
right.
events, because we are so lucky to have the sunset just facing our door. So in the last 3 summers, we organized what we call aperitivo al tramonto, sunset. Well, the aperitivo at sunset. And this year it was very nice, because every week, it was once a week on Thursday, we had a band on the stage, and it was music and wine. It was a completely different way of enjoying wine outside of a normal guided tour or tasting. It is something more surrounded by the colors of nature and music and people having fun and staying relaxed on watching the seaside. So it was the event we organized this year, but we would like to have a lot more occasions to bring people to know the area, because we know that as it's not so known as Marsala, that is very close, but it is very easy to reach because you have a motorway to reach Marsala del Vallo. So we have to create more and more occasions for people to come and visit and discover.
Okay, so Marilena, we're going to leave it up to you. You organize the next big event. And when you're ready, and you let us know.
I'll call you as a madrina.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Alrighty, thank you so much to both of you. That's it, signing off. And until next week, remember to follow us wherever you get your pods. It's Italian Wine Podcast. Ciao ragazzi, grazie mille. Ciao.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.